Good morning. I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this conference is taking place, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri peoples, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. On behalf of the Australian Government, welcome to Parliament House. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person today, but I look forward to working with many of you as we consider the implications of climate change on the agricultural sector and, by extension, food security. I acknowledge the Crawford Fund Chair, the Honourable John Anderson, and all Crawford Fund board members, including the Honourable Joel Fitzgibbon, former Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, and the Fund's patrons in the audience, the Honourable Margaret Reid and the Honourable Neil Andrew. I also congratulate Professor Kadambot Siddiq, recipient of the Crawford Fund Medal. Congratulations. Throughout today, you'll hear from global sustainability experts. I want to thank our international guest presenters for being here and for their commitment. I also want to call out the large delegation of young people attending this conference as part of the Crawford Fund's Next Gen program and members of its RAID network. It's great to see you here. We cannot talk about food security without talking about climate change, and we can no longer talk about climate change without talking about how we become more resilient and how we adapt to this new normal. Because we all know and accept that even as we set targets and find more sustainable ways of living, the impacts of climate change are already being felt and will continue to be felt for generations to come. Locals in the audience will be only too aware that here in Australia, we are seeing the impacts of climate change on food security. Extreme weather events have at times caused fruit and vegetable shortages, increased prices, and severely strained supply chains. When we apply what we've experienced here to an international context, we know that the threats for not acting and adapting only amplify. I'm impressed by the number of case studies presented by our overseas partners and leading Australians. I particularly want to note the work of the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research. These case studies demonstrate many proven scalable technologies and practices that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and help Australia and partner country farmers adapt to climate change. I wish you all the best for today's conference. I look forward to receiving the Crawford Fund's report on the actionable recommendations for policymakers and practitioners following your deliberations across the day. Thank you.